Welcome to another episode of Program Insights from Music in the Air. My name is Jason Shen. As a cellist in orchestra and chamber ensembles, I mostly play the bass line to support the harmony. However, many composers had written the most beautiful melodies for the cello. There are also many cello sonatas and concertos written, and a lot of them are very popular. However, there are not many works written for solo cello. The Sixth Cello Suite by Bach is certainly the most well-known solo work for the cello. But there are some other great compositions written for solo cello as well. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the Third Cello Suite by the British composer Benjamin Britten, which was dedicated to a great cellist, a dear friend of the composer, Rostropovich. This piece will be part of our concert this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Below the video, you can find the link to purchase the ticket and watch the concert online. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on our social media. So Britten and Rostropovich became very good friends since 1960. Before Britten composed the Third Cello Suite, he had written 2 other cello suites and 2 cello sonatas for Rostropovich. But to me, the Third Cello Suite is the most personal composition that Britten wrote for Rostropovich. The Third Cello Suite is all about Russian theme. Britten knew that Rostropovich considered himself Russian Orthodox, so he quoted an ancient Orthodox hymn and 3 Russian folk songs in this suite. I'm going to show you how Britten quoted and used each of the 4 tunes, and I'm starting with the end of the piece, Kantakin. Kantakin is a hymn for departed. I'm not 100% sure about the composer's intention. It could simply mean the piece reached the end of its journey, or it might reflect something happened in the composer's life. What I know from the history is that Britten completed this piece in 1971, but Rostropovich couldn't premiere the piece until 1974, and the composer died in 1976. I checked with multiple sources. Rostropovich never recorded this suite. So here is a recording of the hymn that I found on YouTube. And you will hear the exact same tune at the end of suite like this. Now, let's go back to the beginning of the piece. The opening introduction could sound like just another ancient Orthodox chant. If you remember the Kantakin you just listened to, you will find some similarities. And yes, Britten took the exactly same melody from the Kantakin, and he just transposed the whole thing one step down. And if you change the rhythm back to the same rhythm as Kentuckian, you will hear the same thing. And in this tune, there are 4 notes, which is prominent, or in different combinations. And these 4 notes became the motif, connects through the whole suite. And the best example is the 9th movement, Passacaglia. That's how the Passacaglia starts, which is exactly the same melody from the Kentuckian. And you hear the keeps repeating throughout the movement on the low bass line. And when people hear these 4 notes, it reminds most of us the signature of Shostakovich. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with this. That's from his famous string quartet. And the motif could be heard in many of his orchestral works and chamber works. So a lot of people think, is this a tribute to Shostakovich? However, Britten never admit that. But without Shostakovich, Britten will probably never meet Rostropovich. And the fact was, after Britten finished this piece, he showed Shostakovich right away. And he played the whole thing to Shostakovich and asked him about different versions of the Kentuckian he heard. And Shostakovich told him which one was the most familiar one for him. And he thinks that's the most authentic version. And that's the version Britten kept in the score. So this is all about the Kentuckian. And right before the Kentuckian, at the end of the piece, Britten quoted 3 folk songs, the Russian folk songs, from Tchaikovsky's collections. The 3 folk songs are a mournful song called Under the Little Apple Tree, the Autumn, and a street song called The Gray Eagle. I'm going to play to you each of the 3 folk tunes and show you examples of how Britten incorporated the folk tune in other movements. So the street song sound like this. And Britten took part of the tune as the material for the second movement. And then the other folk tune, the mournful sound, it sounds like this. And Britten used this tune extensively throughout the suite. And the best example is the 6th movement, Fugue. The movement starts like this. It sounds very similar, but not exactly the same. However, if I rearrange the notes in different octaves, you will hear exactly the same thing. And now, the notes are the same, it's just different rhythm. And you can hear this melody written in 2 different octaves through the whole movement. The last folk song left is Autumn. It is very playful. And this tune is related to the 4th movement, Barcarolla. And when we hear this, the music immediately reminds us the prelude from the G major suite by Bach. In fact, the opening 4 bars of both pieces share the same chord progression. But how does this movement relate with the folk song? Here's a picture of my analysis. The highlighted notes are the hidden message. If I play this to you, you will find it is very similar to the folk tune. And if I change the C natural to C sharp, that will be exactly the same note. Isn't that interesting? So many people say that this movement is a tribute to Bach, but I think this movement is also written for Rostropovich. In the interview with former CEO of the National Symphony and the Chicago Symphony, Henry Fogel, told me that he was keep asking Rostropovich, when are you going to record the 6 cello suites by Bach? But Rostropovich kept putting this project aside because he didn't feel ready to record a work that he loved so much. Of course, Britten must know how much Rostropovich liked the cello suite by Bach. That must be why he mixed the Bach prelude with the Russian folk song in the 4th movement of this suite. However, Rostropovich never told anyone why he never recorded the 3rd cello suite by Benjamin Britten. Perhaps Rostropovich just wanted to keep this precious gift to himself.